Queensland's beautiful Gold Coast provided the ideal location for Yamaha Australia to launch the next generation of V6 offshore four-stroke outboards, the F300, F250 and F225. I was lucky enough to spend a couple of days water testing these great new Yamaha outboards and learning all about their unique features, accessories and specifications from Yamaha's Marine Training Administrator, Dan Power. So Dan, what are the major features of this new V6 series?
Yeah, Steve, the new V6 range is just something like I've never seen before. To be able to have such a big cubic capacity engine and keep it so compact is the main technology, and having the engine so light, a V6 engine of 225, 250 and 300 horsepower, it's 253 kilos, it's just never heard of before with a four-stroke outboard.
What about on the economy front, how do they fare?
Yeah, actually pretty surprising, Steve. I think it's a whole new benchmark of outboards. We're experiencing up to 50% better fuel economy compared to our previous four-stroke range, especially mid-range, and across the board about 10 to 15%, which is just not heard of.
One thing I really noticed was how smooth it is when you put it into gear. None of that old clunk and crunch like you used to get with some outboards.
Yeah, well actually the Yamaha technicians or the engineers have really refined that area, and it's a request that we've had for some time now for fishermen to be able to have soft shifting, and the new technology SDS, the shift dampening system, is incorporated into the propeller, and the shift is just absolutely smooth as it's really great.
I know the Barra fishermen up north are really going to like that, but even for things like approaching a tuna school out on the blue water, just being able to notch it in and out of gear like that without the thump and the crunch, that's fantastic. Now just run me through this new digital starting system as well.
Yeah, Steve, it's a really nice accessory item that we have. Basically, we don't need to hold and crank the key, we just turn the key briskly and it starts itself. And if we do happen to hit the key because the engine's so quiet, instead of damaging the starter motor, it has a real neat feature in that the engine stops, so it's like a start-stop switch.
I'm pretty impressed by these digital gauges too.
Yeah, Steve, they are. Replacing the single small gauges that we had to have one screen is very convenient. There's so many features on this new screen. It looks very modern and it comes in line with a lot of electronic equipment that we have these days. There's even a neat little feature there where you can set the background feature to change from day to night every 12 hours, so it does it by itself, so the lights come on basically. Other features include such things as the ability to be able to read up to 4 tanks, so even if you had 2 fuel tanks on board, you might have a freshwater tank or a waste tank, and you can check the levels on each of those as well. And
you can control the variable trolling speed on that as well, right?
Exactly, yeah. The variable trolling speed can be adjusted through the gauge from 600 RPM right through to 1000, so you can really fine-tune that trolling speed as desired.
Dan, 70 amps of output from the alternator, that's pretty impressive. What are the actual benefits when you're out there on the water?
Yeah, well Steve, it just means that there's so much charging available to charge onboard battery systems. Not only can it charge an accessory battery, but it prioritises in charging the engine starting battery. So once the engine starting battery is 100% charged, then it goes on and charges the accessory battery.
And I guess in a big offshore boat like this, it'd be really good to have a couple of extra house batteries to run all your electronics and lights.
Definitely, with this new range of four-strokes, it's the new generation is going to prove to us that four-strokes is definitely the way of the future.
With their big bore 4.2 litre displacement, these engines are exceptionally powerful. They deliver awesome out-of-the-hole performance and mid-range acceleration you simply have to feel to appreciate. These super smooth new V6 four-strokes are highly evolved motors, perfectly adapted to our demanding offshore marine environments and well suited to a range of mono and multi-hulled vessels. Truly amazing weight savings have been achieved on Yamaha's new offshore V6 range. In fact, these motors are the lightest in their class by a significant margin, and the smoothest. These innovative engines don't have conventional steel cylinder sleeves, yet the cylinder walls are 60% harder than steel. Sleeveless cylinders mean larger cylinder bores for increased displacement, resulting in more power and torque. This is all achieved without increasing the overall size of the engine, giving maximum performance without sacrificing durability. So Dan, these new Saltwater Series props, this is a big part of that smooth shifting, isn't it?
Absolutely, Steve. The SDS component of our propellers, the new technology that we have, the shift dampening system, and I think it's going to be very well received.
Show us how it works.
Yeah, it's very simple, Steve. Basically, it uses the torsional bush, which is already in the propeller. And if I put my foot on it and put a bit of weight on it, you'll actually see the propeller flexing on the bush.
Yep.
And what's actually happening when the propeller is stationary and shifts into gear, that bush takes up the clunk or the crash of into gear function, so it's quite smooth.
They've thought of everything. No wonder these new Yamaha V6s are at the top of the food chain.